Chairman Schiff, the original intention for this conversation was to focus on your trip to Ukraine. We will talk about that in a minute, but I want to start with this draft leak on the Roe v. Wade decision that is expected to come out this summer. I want to start with a tweet. You said, "I don't care how the draft leaked." You called it a sideshow. You said, "What I care about is that a small number of conservative justices who lied about their plans to the Senate intend to deprive millions of women of reproductive care. Codifying Roe isn't enough. We must expand the court." Considering where things stand right now in both the House and it's even tighter in the Senate, is that even possible?
Well, I would hope it would be possible. These senators who bought the explanations of Supreme Court nominees when they were appearing under oath, that they were going to observe precedent, that they were going to uphold it, particularly one like in Roe v. Wade that had been around for decades. I would hope that they would feel sufficiently betrayed to want to codify Roe, but I think the problem goes beyond Roe. What the justices have done in this draft opinion, if they fall through with it, threatens a whole host of other rights Americans have, like the right to marry for same-sex couples, the right to privacy in many other forms and incarnations. So I think that we have to unstack the court. Mitch McConnell stacked it by withholding an appointment by President Obama, and jamming went through while people were voting for President Biden. And as a result, I think we need to unstack the court and protect these other rights.
Governor Newsom came out after this opinion draft was leaked and said, "Where's the Democratic Party? Why aren't we standing up more firmly, more resolutely? Why aren't we calling this out?" Do you think the party needs to do more?
I think we all need to do more at the federal level, at the state level, and at the local level. This is a decision, if the Supreme Court goes through with it, which is going to threaten the health care access for millions and millions of women, as well as people in the trans community. It's going to be an unmitigated disaster. I don't think anybody can fight hard enough to protect against this kind of socially conservative, deeply unpopular, and partisan decision, apparent decision by the Supreme Court.
All right, I want to shift now and talk about your trip with Speaker Pelosi and other members of Congress to Ukraine this week. You met with President Zelensky. What were your takeaways? What stood out to you, especially as chair of the Intel Committee?
Well, what stood out, among the remarkable calm that President Zelensky demonstrated, his grasp of the military situation, all this was quite extraordinary for someone who was a sitcom actor, comedic actor who became the president of that country. He is now really a Churchillian figure. But the war has changed from the initial days and weeks when Russian forces were widely dispersed. They are now concentrated in the south and the east, and it requires a different kind of weapons that we should be providing to Ukraine to help Ukraine in that new fight, which is more at a distance. When they were so dispersed, Ukrainian forces could ambush Russian tanks, but now they're dealing with long-range artillery. We need to make sure that we provide long-range artillery and radar systems and what Ukrainians need to defend themselves in the new nature of this phase of the war.
President Biden has called President Putin a war criminal. Did you have a discussion with the president after this meeting with Zelensky, and did you relay his needs and what he's asking for right now?
We did have a conversation with President Biden when we returned to the United States. I expect we'll have a follow-up conversation with the president about our discussion. And one of the things that we conveyed is the need for these multiple rocket launch systems that will help Ukraine fight at these greater distances, but also the need to help Ukraine with anti-ship munitions so they can reopen the port of Odessa, which would require them to sink much of that Russian Black Sea fleet. This is not only important for Ukrainian war effort, but also to people around the world, and particularly in Africa, because Ukraine has been such an important source of grain. And without the ability to export that grain through the port, there are potentially thousands and thousands, if not millions of people that will go hungry.
Chairman Schiff, we'll leave it there. We thank you for your time here on Inside California Politics.
Thank you.